All right, sticking with basketball, this year's playoffs have been surprising to say the least. Eighth seed in the East beat the number one seed in 5 games. Seventh seed in the West, it's a parade in my city, yeah, beat a number two seed in 6 games. And overall, the first round has presented seemingly more parity than in the years prior. So, Sticks, what are your thoughts on this year's playoffs up until this point? And can you say who you think is going to go to the finals?
So I've watched a lot of NBA playoffs this year. And, I've watched more NBA playoffs this year than I've watched in previous years. I always watch the playoffs regardless
Yeah.
because that's the most exciting time in a lot of different sports. As far as NFL, NBA, college basketball, it's always more exciting to watch this time of the year than it is to watch the full 82-game season.
I agree.
But it's been exciting as it has been. And there have been some upsets. There have been some trash talk that wasn't backed up. There's been some domination by teams that we expected and some that we didn't expect. But he already alluded to it. A number 8 seed beating a number 1 seed in 5 games. Jimmy Butler went crazy against the Bucks, averaging 35 points a game. Like that right there is the most. But you're going to have that argument amongst people that's going to say, I mean, well, the Bucks were decimated by injuries and Middleton only played 1 game and Giannis only played a couple of games in the series and this, that, and the third. I'm like, bruh.
People always use those excuses
bruh.
When it's with teams that, the quote unquote underdog, even though Milwaukee had the best record in the NBA, right? They had the best record in the NBA, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the Bucks did. Yep.
Yeah. Even though they had the best record in the NBA, nobody really expects them to win the championship with the team that they have, because the year that they won the championship, the whole NBA was decimated with injuries.
The whole NBA was all of the playoffs didn't have at least 1 or 2 of their star players every round they played. So
so people always use those excuses when it comes to the underdog not, and I say underdog loosely, but the underdog not winning. But when the big dog gets hit with injuries, oh, them boys trash, man. I knew they couldn't do it. And you know who I'm talking about. I won't say no names, but
exactly.
But still, yeah.
But it's like Jimmy Butler literally willed that team to that first round win, bro. Like that first round series win. Because he was averaging almost 36. He had 2 back-to-back games with 56 and 42. And he just went crazy against the Bucks. And if that's the case, then if we talking about, the boys trash today they just beat the Knicks and Jimmy Butler had 25. So Jimmy is going crazy. And there's always that conversation around, playoff Jimmy and playoff Butler. And then he's like, that's not even a thing because I play like this all the time, which it don't seem like it in the 82 game season. But when they get to the playoffs, Jimmy becomes Himmy, dog. Like Himmy Butler, because he is him right now. Like best player in the playoffs by far the best player in the playoffs. Regardless.
I wouldn't say by far, but because
who playing better than Jimmy Butler right now in the playoffs?
The point guard for I'm not gonna say he's playing better, but comparable is Brunson. Sorry.
No, Jalen Brunson is playing well.
He's been balling, man, and also De'Aaron Fox has been playing.
De'Aaron Fox been going off.
Yeah. But I mean, the reason that Jimmy stands out is the 56 points and the way that he dominated the Bucks, in the series that they had. So I can say Jimmy is probably the best player in the playoffs right now, but I wouldn't go so far as to say hands down the best player.
I don't know, man. He might be hands down the best player right now because you can look at. I don't know, man. You got a point. But I mean, because De'Aaron Fox is playing well, but I got you. I hear you. But but we already talked about too. He already hinted. There's a parade around my city, but
no, it ain't.
Y'all talked all this trash. And y'all the biggest trash talking team in the NBA this year was the Memphis Grizzlies, and they came out and got smacked. Thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button and hit the notification bell so you miss none of the content. Also, you can find us on all your streaming platforms wherever you find your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how you feel about the Lakers, bro, putting that dominance on the Grizzlies uh after your boy John Morant talking about he ain't worried about nobody in the West, and it's a parade around
Mm-hmm.
his city. You got
Mm-hmm.
the bum. I don't even like saying his name for real, but he talking about he poked bears and he ain't he
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't respect him until he give me 40. And then you
Right.
got other players that I ain't worried about it. We're gonna be back here in 7, and then you come out and get blown out by 40. What you feel about the Lakers in that series, my G?
I mean, so you can easily say that injuries also derailed the Memphis Grizzlies, and also off court distractions
Distractions. Mm-hmm.
headed by John Morant and all the issues he had. Um, but yeah, by far the Memphis Grizzlies were the most trash talking team in the NBA, and I mean, it was an anonymous player said the Memphis Grizzlies are by far the most annoying team when they're winning. They talking the most junk. When they losing, they ain't saying nothing. And it was evidenced by exactly the person that you're talking about. So after game 2, Dylan Brooks says LeBron's old, which LeBron is old. I mean,
He is old.
as far as NBA terms is concerned, LeBron is old.
Mm-hmm.
And he pokes bears, and they won that game. The games they lost, Dylan Brooks, I'm out. I ain't talking to nobody. The media made me a villain. Nah, bro, you was the one talking junk. And it's crazy people claiming to poke bears, but forget that you shouldn't mess with the biggest grizzly of them all, which is LeBron James. I mean, LeBron didn't have a great series, but he rallied his team. The team rallied around him to protect him. And I think that's the thing that's going to help the Lakers in the playoffs is the team is playing for him. It seems like
Mm-hmm.
to me, like
Mm-hmm.
you could tell LeBron is not. To me, I watched LeBron playoffs for I don't know how long. You can tell he's not the same. He doesn't have the same step. Every once in a while, he'll give you that spurt, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not this continuous step. So when Dylan Brooks said what he said, yeah, okay, you're right. He's not. He is old. He's not the person that he was in Miami and Cleveland. But don't poke that man because he gonna do exactly what he did. He gonna take it in. He ain't gonna say much to you on the court, but he
Mm-hmm.
gonna give you those little subliminals here and there, and then he might even make it public like he did before Game 4. Was that Game 4? Yeah, Game 4 or
Mm-hmm.
Game 3. It was Game 3 where he's like, "You're not doing nothing," and then I don't know what else he said, but he said, "Make some shots, do your job," like he a
Facts.
little kid. Like I'm
Facts.
just like, bro, you can't talk to that man like that. But anyway, yeah, I think it's they got what they deserve, man. You
They did.
humble yourself. You're still a relatively young team that hasn't done, while you had some success in the regular season and last year's playoffs knocking out Golden State,
Mm-hmm.
you haven't done anything, man. Now, I will say this. When they are healthy and if they can keep that nucleus together, they're gonna be hell.
They're gonna be scary.
They're gonna be hell in the NBA. Because John Morant with a hurt hand was balling.
Giving buckets.
Not game 6, but he was balling when he came back. So I think long story short, get back to LA. I think they did what they were supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
and the team that they have now post trade, not to say anything negative about Russell Westbrook, it's just a better fit for LeBron
Mm-hmm.
and AD because you can potentially space the court out more and allow them to go to work. And when they're on, and you get 40-point blowouts like you had game 6.
That's a fact, and it's you already alluded to it a little bit, saying that because it's scary to say that LeBron wasn't even the most dominant player on his team night in and night out. Because you
Mm-hmm.
some nights you'll have AD give you 35 and 17. Next night you'll give you'll see Hachimura go off, you see Austin Reeves go off, you see D Russ go off. Like that the way they put this team together after the trade deadline is scary for a lot of the playoff teams, man. And it's going to be interesting to see, depending on who wins the Sacramento Golden State game. I'm pretty sure it's over now. Depending on who wins that game, what is that series in the semis is going to be interesting, bro. Because Golden State and LeBron already have such a
Golden State
history.
won.
Golden State won. All right, bet. So now it's going to be Golden State and the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers in the semifinals. So Golden State and LeBron himself have so much history.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he attacks this and how the Lakers attack this too, because that's going to be a fun series to watch. The Lakers
Yeah.
with LeBron and the Golden State Warriors with that team that they still have together. I allow they don't have KD no more. They ain't had him in the last couple of years, and they won the championship last year. So
Right.
that's going to be a fun series to watch. I can't
It's
wait for that.
it's funny because you talk about KD and we haven't even mentioned the Phoenix Suns.
Exactly.
So there any team that had it's almost like LeBron and Steph. Well, it's not almost. It is exactly like LeBron and Steph. Any
Mm-hmm.
team that has them, and Steph's been with Golden State his whole career, but any team that has those individuals, LeBron, Steph, KD, you can't truly count them out. And
Facts.
even though Phoenix lost to the number one seed Denver Nuggets in the West, you
Mm-hmm.
can't count out that the Phoenix Suns won't respond because D Book is a great player too.
He's been
Um,
balling too, yo.
you know
He's
what I
been
mean?
balling.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I this series, this playoff to me has been one of the most exciting to watch, just because of the parity, the 8 beating the 1,
Mm-hmm.
and then 7 beating the 2, and then the potential of the series that are to come. It's just been great. In New York is in a state of nostalgia. It's been a while since they've
Mm-hmm.
been in the
I was about
playoffs.
to say that too. Yep.
They are in the second round. They beat a team that was supposed to do well this year, which they did do well in the regular season, but they didn't
It
show
didn't
up in the
pan out in the
playoffs.
playoffs, right?
Sometimes the lights are just too bright for individuals. I mean, but that's another thing that's been great about these playoffs too. Uh, Now that we know that Golden State has beaten the Sacramento Kings, is you're starting to see those young stars kind of flash here and there. Will
Mm-hmm.
really start to flash, but you still have the old regime still intact, saying, "Hold on, you got to wait a little bit. I like what you're
Facts,
doing,
facts,
but
facts.
but but go on to the crib right quick. 1, 2, 3, Cancun. Let us handle this. You know what I
Big
mean?
facts. And it's funny. It's funny you alluded to that. It was two more things I wanted to talk about. We back at episode 2, we did a segment about the trades that came about before the season started, and you know what I'm saying? I had high hopes for the Cavs, but D'Lo was like, nah, they ain't gonna be that good. And they went through the season and had a really good season, made it to the playoffs,
Right,
and this is one of the first times without LeBron that Cleveland has actually made it to the playoffs. And that had a
right,
lot to do with that acquisition of Donovan Mitchell, because he had a really good season. He was having a pretty good playoffs, but they just didn't have enough to take out the Knicks, because the Knicks have been playing well actually for a couple of years now, but they finally got it all together and are sparking a playoff run this year. But the
right.
Cavs were to me, it wasn't a surprise, but I'm pretty sure to D'Lo it was, because he was like, nah, they ain't
Yeah.
gonna be that good. Like,
I
episode
mean,
2, he
I
was like,
thought they would
nah,
have
the
made the
Cavs ain't gonna be
playoffs. Yeah,
that. Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought they would have made the playoffs, but not as a 3 seed. Right? They were 3,
True. They were 3.
4.
They were 3 seed. Yep. 3 seed.
Yeah, I didn't think they. I honestly thought Atlanta would have been like the 3 seed, and then the Cavs would have made the
No,
playoffs,
actually,
but
the
they would have
Knicks
been
were the
like
5 seed,
6,
and the Knicks were the 5 seed, and the Cavaliers were the 4 seed.
4 seed. Okay, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I thought the Atlanta Hawks would have been in the place of the Cavs, and the Cavs would have been in the place of Atlanta Hawks. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, both of them at home now, so it don't really matter.
That's a fact. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about too, last thing, was I know we talked about the Suns and that team that they have with D Book, Chris Paul, KD. But do you think that series would have panned out differently if they fully had Kawhi and PG on the court? Because
Absolutely.
them dudes, man, I don't know what it is about Kawhi and PG, but they stay hurt, bruh. And especially Kawhi, because he can be talked about in that conversation as one of the greatest, but he
Hmm.
just and I guess it's two sides of the coin, because it's kind of complex. Because if I cared a little bit more about my health, to be honest, and wanted to
Hmm.
like take some time off and actually like think about the future a little bit more, because I played with a bad shoulder for 7 games that I shouldn't have played with in the college. And that's another reason
Hmm.
why I probably ain't still in the NFL now. Hindsight 2020. But if I would have redshirted that year and came back the next year fully healthy and balled out like I did my senior year, I probably would still be in the NFL at this point. But this man, Kawhi Leonard, takes his health to a whole nother level. G, like I feel like sometimes he cares more about that than his actual profession, his job. But your health in the NBA is your job. It goes hand in hand. So you said you think it would have been a different series if the Clippers had PG and Kawhi?
Well, just based off of the small sample size that we had from Kawhi and Russ, we'll just
Right.
leave it at that for right now.
D
I just
Russ
hit
too.
my
I was gonna talk
desk.
about him too. Yep.
Yeah, not
All
D
good.
Russ. You're talking about
Not D
Russell
Russ,
Westbrook.
but Russell Westbrook. I'm tripping. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. The small sample size that we had from them playing together, not even including PG, we saw that they gave the Phoenix Suns a run for their money. And then as soon as Kawhi left, was no longer able to play, that's when Phoenix took off. So I 100% think that if PG was healthy, if Kawhi was healthy, with the way that Kawhi was playing in the playoffs, the series would have been different. Now, Phoenix probably still would have won, in my opinion.
I think so too.
But it probably would have went 7 games. And
I think so too.
well, let me take that back. If PG was playing, I think the Clippers would have won, honestly. Now, if Kawhi was just playing how the roster was coming into the playoffs with just Westbrook, Kawhi, and the rest of the Clippers team, I think it would have went 7 games. Now, I think that series would have been different.
Because that series was hella close. Like it was only one game where the Suns really won by more than like 10 points. And Kawhi Leonard only played 2 games. And I don't think PG played at all, if I'm not mistaken.
No, PG did not play at all. They were hoping that they could get past the Suns and then he would come back in the second round, hopefully, but that was no guarantee either. So I mean, it's just the PG and Kawhi, that experiment that has gone on in LA with the Clippers. I'm not going to say they should blow it up, but both of those players are in their 30s. So it's cause for concern. There's a lot of people that say the Clippers should try to get whatever they can for Kawhi now, while he still has some type of great value. It's just it's sports. Injuries happen. It happens at the most unexpected times, and usually when you get injured in the NBA, you have some individuals that they always get injured. AD is one, and that's why I want, knock on wood, I want to say that the Lakers can make it to the finals with the roster how it is now. And even LeBron, they're one injury away from either AD or LeBron to where it doesn't work, and then they look like how they looked before the trade deadline. And yep, I know what you're about to say. AD's battling with some injuries right now. He's just trying to
not
tough
even
it out.
that, bro. It's like every time he fall down, like he's so fragile, like he's so brittle. Every time he fall, he like grabbing his back.
Right.
I can't feel my
He's
arm.
trying to tough it out.
He is though. He's doing his thing.
He's trying to tough it out.
And before we go to the next topic, I want to shout out Russell Westbrook because he was not a good fit for the Lakers. Everybody said that. We said that, and we knew that coming into it. He wasn't a good fit for the Lakers. But shout out to him for taking a lot more stock in that 6-man role, and he's actually been balling ever since he went to the Clippers. He's been balling, dog. And like, shout out to him for taking all of the heat and all of the flack that he's taken for the past year and a half where he was with the Lakers, and toughing that shit out and using it as fuel with the Clippers, because he has been balling, dog. Like hitting threes, getting to the cup, like just taking that 6-man role serious. And low key, I'm proud of Buddy. Like he doing his thing. Yeah. But before we go to the next topic, what's your prediction? Who win in the finals?
Who win in the finals, or who going to the finals? Who is going?
Who's winning the NBA championship? Well, okay, two part. Who's going to the finals and who's winning the championship?
So I think who is going to the finals is whoever wins between the Philly and Boston series, whoever from the East. The West it's a toss up to me. I can't really get a pulse on it. I'm just gonna say the Nuggets are going, but in the back of my mind, I hope the Lakers are going. So I possibly could insert them there. if it's, I just want it to be an entertaining finals. So
Mm-hmm.
if it is Boston and the Nuggets, I'm going to
It's gonna
say
be
the
boring.
Nuggets. If it's Boston and I'm sorry, if it's Philly and the Nuggets,
Say Philly.
I'm gonna say Philly.
Mm-hmm.
If the Lakers are in there, I'm gonna say the Lakers gonna win, and that
Yeah,
would be a crazy story.
it would be for LeBron to break the all-time scoring record and win the finals at the same time, and possibly
At
from
the
a
7
MVP
seed,
as the seventh seed. That would be a
yeah.
story in itself. But my prediction would be it's the same as D'Lo's. In the East, is whoever wins the Boston Philly, whoever wins the Boston Philly series, which I think is that's actually that's a wash because Boston and Philly they both got really really good teams. But I want to say it's going to
And
be
Embiid's
Boston,
hurt right now, though.
and Embiid is hurt. True, so I want to say it's going to be Boston, and I just can't bet against LeBron personally. So I
Mm-hmm.
think the Lakers going to the finals, and then I just want to, like you said, I just want to see an exciting finals, man. I think if Denver goes to the NBA finals, the pace that the Denver plays at, bro, is so lethargic, bro. I just can't watch them play seven, like how many games that series goes to. Like I don't want Denver to make the finals. I not to wish bad luck against them, of course. Like I said at the beginning of this of the episode, but it's gonna be so boring to watch. The I think the best series, the most exciting series would be if Boston goes against Phoenix. But I want
You
LeBron to
think
get his
so?
fifth. Yeah, because
I
Phoenix
think,
is so high powered and they move at such a fast pace, and so does Boston. Like that pace is gonna be
yeah.
crazy. I think the
I
pace will be
think,
crazy.
I think it would be an exciting series for many reasons if Boston and LA make it. One, we're talking about history, championships on the line, prestigious.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the most
Yep.
prestigious franchise? You got LeBron back in the finals. Um, Jason Tatum, who's a budding superstar, if not a
Mm-hmm.
superstar, and Jalen Brown in the
Mm-hmm.
finals for the first time. Like you said, you have the high power offense
This would
of
be the second time
the
they went
Boston.
last year.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't.
They played
They did.
against.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
You're
they
right. You're
played.
right.
They
You're right. You're
lost
right. You're
to
right.
the Warriors. Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
right. You're right. Yeah. And so you have them back in the finals trying to, get their secure their first championship. You
Mm-hmm.
have LeBron back, those individuals back, Boston with their high power offense. But, as we've seen, if the Lakers are clicking, they're high powered as well.
100%.
But they have the ability to play they have the ability to play defense. They don't always play defense how they did Friday night. But if they play like they played Friday night, it's nobody that can beat them. It's
Nobody.
just, will they play like that?
True. True. If you get LeBron giving you 20 and 20 games, you got a chance, bro.
Yeah.
You got a
Yeah.
chance.